Hey guys, so it is Monday night, so first day of quarantining, social distancing, isolation, all that done. I've just been home all day in my room for most of it. If I go downstairs and I'm with my family, I try to stay like 6 feet away from them, and just try to maintain my space and not like touch things and all that kind of stuff, just in case I am a carrier of coronavirus from at school or the airport or the airplane or anything like that. It was pretty, boring, but talked to my friends a lot, did some research on why social distancing and quarantining is so important, because we really need to be flattening the curve, because otherwise hospitals are just not going to be able to handle the amount of people who are getting sick, and that's about what's happening in Italy right now. So today is March 16th, I think. Italy is supposed to be around 10 days ahead of America at the moment. And so they're all in a mandatory quarantine. The hospitals are having to choose who to give supplies to because they don't have enough. And America needs to be quarantining and social distancing as much as possible right now. Otherwise, we're going to get to the same or a worse state. I live in Southern California, but in Northern California today, they started a mandatory quarantine or a stay-at-home in a lot of different counties in the Northern California area. And hopefully that'll happen soon in Southern California too. I mean, it sucks, but it's what we need to do to protect the more vulnerable people in our society who are going to be more affected by this disease than people who are like my age and have healthy immune systems and all. So that's just day one of quarantining. Hey guys, it is Tuesday night, end of quarantine day 2. I've been staying just like in my room and the bathroom, of course. My family's been like bringing food up to me, and I've got like some snacks and things in my room. I've been trying to keep busy doing some homework and FaceTiming my friends, and something that's really cool actually about this is that a lot of like artists and dancers and singers and everything have been using like the internet, Instagram lives a lot to do like concerts. Like John Legend, I think, is doing like an Instagram live concert. A lot of dancers that I really love have been teaching classes or like doing like stretching or movement exercises. So some of the ones I've been doing is Galen Hooks had a movement exercise. I did Kira Harper's like heels class today, which was really, really fun. It was like a full like 1.5 hour class. She taught a whole routine. There were like 700 people from around the world doing it, which was just really cool because Corona sucks, but it's bringing people together in some way. My mom went to the grocery store today and she told me a little bit about, I mean, I couldn't go with her obviously, but she told me a little bit about how it went. It's like they only have one entrance in, one entrance out right now, and they're counting the number of people who are let in at a time, so that it's not too busy. She said that there is still like a decent amount of food, but just not like pantry staples. So like canned like beans, pasta, rice, bread, like those aisles are like empty. Toilet paper, hand sanitizer, obviously just like gone. There isn't any of that. But like other foods, there's like a decent amount of. So she picked up some things, brought them home. We definitely like are trying to have enough food for the next like 2 or 3 weeks because LA will probably be put on lockdown soon. But we're not trying to get too much because people have been doing so much panic buying that, first of all, it's not necessary, but second of all, it's putting people who can't afford to like do a lot of panic buying in a really rough spot because there's nothing left, and especially things if you're on like food stamps and stuff like that, that's really difficult right now. So the panic buying is really an issue. But yeah, that's the update for today, and I'll see you guys later. Hi everyone, and welcome to quarantine day 4. I forgot to update yesterday, but nothing really happened, so it's fine. Day 4, just kind of hanging out. I took an online dance class, and my friend took the same one, so we like learned to dance together. Just worked out, took a shower, watching some TV, just the normal stuff, I guess, for quarantine. What I actually wanted to talk about in this update is what happened a couple of days ago, but I hadn't talked about it because I didn't know what to say because it was just so awful. But basically, President Trump, started calling coronavirus the Chinese virus. I am appalled but not very surprised because, of course, he would turn to racism in a time like this. With what he's been doing, I mean, there's a lot of things that we could be in a very different place if he had taken different steps earlier, because the government has really been not doing as much as they could, because apparently back in January, Trump actually turned down coronavirus testing because he thought that higher rates of infected people would lower his chance of winning in the 2020 election. And now here we are in this state of people need to be practicing social distancing, and it's definitely going to get worse before it gets better. But him calling this the Chinese virus is really a very low point of this whole pandemic, which is already bad enough. People in the Asian community have already been facing a lot of hate. There's been many different hate crimes, especially right in the beginning when this was just kind of an issue in China and people weren't really thinking about it coming to the United States or to other countries in general. And there were a lot of different hate crimes that happened then that are really, really sad and really just disappointing. This is a horrible situation, and we need to be standing together as a community. And I mean, I've seen a lot of great examples of that, which is really amazing, but just with that, there are, of course, some negative incidents as well that are just really hard to see. But yeah, if, this is ever on the internet, but whatnot, please, if anyone calls this the Chinese virus, just shut them up. The World Health Organization, when naming it, actually made a specific point of saying they didn't want to associate it with where it was coming from. They knew it would lead to different racist connotations, and obviously it's not the fault of any place where the virus started. Like, it doesn't mean anything. I mean, it's spread to the whole world now, so you can call it any country's virus. But yeah, that was just a really, really massive thing, but we all need to keep looking for hope and working with our community and fighting the hatred and the racism and the xenophobia that's coming with this. So that's the day 4 quarantining update. Hi everyone, quarantine day 5, and today's update is just like a mini update to talk about like privilege and how that's involved in here. I obviously am extremely privileged because my college gave me 4 days to move out, and I was lucky. I'm so blessed to have the resources to be able to have bought last minute flight tickets and move out of my school and pay for, storage and everything like that last minute. And also, now that I'm home and online classes are going to start next Wednesday, I have like a safe home environment. I have Wi-Fi, I have a laptop, so like I'll be okay. But there are a lot of people who don't have the same resources, don't have the same food security that they have at school, at home. They don't have proper space. Once they're home, a lot of people have lost their on-campus jobs and probably have to get jobs wherever they're from or wherever they're staying at the moment, that take up a lot of time, and it's hard to balance a course load with a big job like that. So there's just a lot of things happening that really exemplify or really emphasize the privilege that it takes to be able to do a lot of things. So that's me as a student, but then also adults. I mean, so California, as of I think yesterday, all of California has issued a shelter at home, which means that except for essential things, you can't leave your house. I think New York has done the same. I think that a lot of big cities like Boston and places like that will be doing the same thing soon. It's a really good thing. It's what we need to be able to try and slow coronavirus from spreading, but it's very privileged for people to be able to work from home and still make a paycheck. A lot of people have lost their jobs because their jobs involve, being physically at a place. And a lot of people have lost their jobs. There's also a lot of small businesses and restaurants that aren't getting enough business and might have to close because of this, because no one is going outside and going to restaurants. They're not getting that income. So there's just, my heart goes out to people who are struggling in this time, because there's just so many things that I'm so blessed to have, and I understand that not everyone has those things, and I just, like, everything I'm saying in this whole vlog, I don't even know if this is ever going to go anywhere, but everything I'm saying is coming from my own point of view, which is an extremely, extremely privileged point of view, and I understand that it's so different for a lot of people, and that this is such a hard time, and everyone has different struggles, but a lot of people just have it really, really bad right now. We need to help as much as we can. Something cool to see is that there's a lot of relief funds that have been started. People are trying to raise money to go to small businesses and restaurants. There's a fund for artists in Los Angeles because a lot of dancers, singers, performers obviously aren't doing that job right now. A lot of people have had to file for unemployment due to the health conditions and everything. So it's just a really hard time, and it's a time to show some love and care and respect to the people in our communities because people are going through quite a lot. But that's the update for today. I'm just in my room as usual, starting to do some work and clean and just, I don't know, get ready for online classes to start next week. I've been getting messages from some of my teachers who are trying to figure out what kind of resources people have at home, people who are in different time zones. Some of my teachers are definitely trying to be as accommodating as possible, and some of them are definitely not doing that, and definitely need to be understanding that the situation is not what people signed up for. And I mean, like I said, a lot of people just don't have the same safe home environment and the same resources to be able to just continue a regular course load like they do at school. And a lot of teachers just aren't considering that as much as they need to, which is a really awful thing to see. But yeah, day 5, quarantine, that's update.
The other update is that I've been making paper cranes in my boredom. This is how many I have so far. So I'm just gonna keep making them because I have nothing to do.
Hi everyone, I'm sorry for the really terrible lighting, but I'm outside on a walk with my dog and I just thought I would do a little update here. It is around 7:30 on Saturday, March 21st, so day 6 of quarantine, and basically no big updates. I mean, I've just been chilling in my room, watching movies, doing workout videos, online dance classes, stuff like that. We're obviously still allowed to go outside and like walk around, take dogs on walks, go hiking, as long as we're like staying away from other people, which is nice because you need to like get some fresh air and stuff. The only other update, I guess, for like me personally is my summer internship got canceled last night because it was supposed to be at a bank, and banks are still open, but they're not actually allowed to have outside people come in right now. And this is probably, I mean, we're not at the worst of coronavirus right now in the States. Like, it's definitely going to get worse before it gets better. And the internship was supposed to start in June, so they're just kind of trying to think ahead. So that's that. It sucks, but that's what life is right now. And in the grand scheme of things, like, it's not a very big deal. I'm going to hope to still find something to do. But I know some internships are turning remote, and a lot of them are just canceling. But that's that. The other little thing is just that, the car really slowed down. The other little thing is that a lot of colleges are changing their grading system for this semester, and some options of those are like leaving it as it is, obviously, but then doing like an optional pass-fail or a mandatory pass-fail, where classes are pass-fail, and usually a pass-fail wouldn't count towards like your major or requirement, but it will count for this semester. And it's supposed to add some more equity to people who are going home to just different situations, because people are all going home to very different situations right now, and we didn't sign up for this whole online class situation, obviously, and it's really hard to do a full course load when you're at home because there's just a lot of things that can get in the way. I don't know, I mean, I see pros and cons to all the different things. I know that Tufts, which is my school, is voting on Monday, so 2 days from now, about what they're gonna do, and then I guess we'll hear. But yeah, I don't know what I'm hoping they do. I think that mandatory has some pluses because it makes it more fair for people who are going home to harder situations, but then also people deserve to have the choice for each class because people need things for like different requirements, law school, grad school, a GPA boost. So I think it's probably best if people get to choose for each class, but who knows? I guess we'll find out. I know that some schools, I think MIT has gone to optional pass-fail. I think Columbia went to mandatory pass-fail. Stanford also did optional pass-fail, and like a whole bunch of other schools are changing things up as well. But yeah, that is the update. Tomorrow, I'm actually going to stop quarantining in my room and just keep quarantining in my house, obviously, but I can leave my room, which is really exciting because I've been home for about a week now, and my family kind of was like, it's been around 2 weeks tomorrow since when I think I might have been exposed to coronavirus. At Tufts, most likely, and I haven't developed any symptoms or anything in the last week, so I'm going to just stay in my house. Obviously, I'm not leaving. LA is still shelter at home, and even if it wasn't, social distancing and quarantining is the most important thing that people can be doing right now, to be perfectly honest. The people who are still going out and doing things and
going to parties and clubs and hanging out with friends, that's extremely selfish because you're putting more vulnerable people in a lot of danger. And it's just incredibly selfish to be doing that right now. So obviously wouldn't be doing that anyways, but yeah, I'm just gonna stay quarantined in my home. And yeah, that's the update for today. Bye.
Hi everyone, it is March 23rd, Monday. I forgot to update yesterday, but just another, little update. Nothing big is happening, of course, because quarantine. But I'm now not quarantined in my room anymore, so I can like go to my house and cook and spend time with my family and stuff, which is nice. One thing that happened that my school and some other schools are doing is that they're switching grading systems for the rest of the semester, which is pretty cool. So Tufts actually just announced that we're doing like an optional pass-fail, which means that you can opt to pass-fail a class for this semester, and you usually have to do this by like a certain deadline, but you can actually do it until the last day of classes this semester. And usually it won't, if you did a pass-fail for a class, it wouldn't count for your like requirements, but it will for this semester. So that's kind of a cool thing to see. A lot of schools are changing their grading systems to try and look out for students who are going home to just like harder situations. And obviously this just isn't what they were expecting for this semester. But yeah, that's about it right now. Just gonna spend more time with my family, and classes start the day after tomorrow, so I'm starting to like prepare myself for that. But yeah, that is today's update. Hi everyone, welcome to the next update. It is Friday, March 27th, around 4 p.m. And I don't have like anything specific. I just wanted to make an update because this is also crazy, and I was just realizing that like if you had told me this was gonna happen like a month ago, I just wouldn't have believed you. Like this, it just felt so unreal. My mom is at Costco right now getting some groceries because we are trying not to go to the grocery store very often or at all, but we need to make sure we've got enough food because California is shelter at home, so we're just staying at home most of the time, and we can leave for essentials like groceries, but we don't want to be doing it too much because we just don't want to be in contact with too many people. She told me that like stuff is getting more back in stock. Like the reason, like there shouldn't have been a food shortage because it's just people panic buying, which is a real problem because when people are, getting like 2-3 weeks of food is totally fine. Like you need to support yourself. It's better because it means you're not going out to grocery stores, and if you have coronavirus and you're asymptomatic, you could be spreading it to people every time you go to the grocery store. So it's much better for someone to stock up for a few weeks and then just stay at home, not go to the grocery store. But the problem is that some people are stocking up for like way longer than they need to, and it's making it really hard for people who are low income and can't afford to stock up. It's making it hard for like older people who like it's already hard enough like because they're at high risk for getting coronavirus. So anyone in like a high risk group being able to like go to the grocery store and stuff is probably already really scary in this situation. And just if you need to go and there's like no food, and that just makes it harder for you. But yeah, so she's getting some stuff so that we as a family are good for at least another week or two before we have to go back to the grocery store. And yeah, online classes have started, so I've got like another lecture to do today. I had 2 classes yesterday. I'm just working on like some homework and stuff right now, but decided to take a break and film this. But that's basically what's going on. Like it's just a really weird time. My sister has been on like, this was supposed to be her spring break, and last week was supposed to be my spring break. So during this week she's not like doing her online classes or anything, but starting Monday her high school is doing online classes as well because it's closed down obviously. But yeah, it's just a very weird time. I've been hearing, because I have a friend who's from Sweden, and so she recently went back to Sweden, and she said it was really weird because her layover was in the Amsterdam airport, which is completely like, most of the flights have been canceled. All the restaurants and stores in the airport are shut down. There's not a lot of people, and the people who are there, she said, are like all wearing masks and stuff. But then she got into Stockholm, Sweden, and she said it was like just a shock because everything is still open and no one is wearing a mask. People are still like hugging people when they come in, and for some reason like Sweden, or Stockholm at least from what she's told me, is just like not taking it very seriously. She said because her mom works in a school and her mom's school is like still open. She's going to work every day, at least up until the last time she talked to me, which was like 2 days ago. So it's just like weird to see how countries are taking it so differently. And yeah, it's just really interesting because some countries are just taking it more seriously than others. And I mean, there's like a level of like, I wish the United States had started trying to prevent this earlier, because it's just too late to stop it. Like now what we can do is try to stop the spread from being as fast, and we need to do is like flatten the curve is what it's called. And that's what like social distancing is doing, because if we don't do that, then the hospitals are just not going to have enough resources to be able to handle everyone getting sick at the same time. So that's what's up with that. But yeah, it's just interesting to see how different countries are handling it differently, and some better than others. And I don't know, it's just a unique new situation. The other thing that happened was that my college, Tufts University, announced, I think 2 days ago or yesterday, that the commencement for the seniors was going to be virtual, which is just so horrible. Every other school, or a lot of other schools, have just decided to postpone it until it's safe to do so, and that's what makes sense. And for some reason, Tufts said it was virtual. People started sending them a lot of emails and signing petitions, and they just sent out another, it's just a really insensitive another email saying, well, it's going to be virtual anyways. And for the people who have worked so hard and put in so much effort, so much money into this school, they deserve a graduation. The seniors deserve that. So people have been just sending a lot of messages and stuff. It's just weird timing also, because acceptance or decision letters for Tufts also came out yesterday, which I think is when they announced the graduation thing. So it's all happening at the same time. It just feels so insensitive to be welcoming in the new class while just tossing the old class under the bus. So we'll see. I mean, we've been sending lots of messages to the administration and signing petitions and things, hoping that they're gonna rethink that decision, and just fingers crossed that they just reschedule commencement. It's truly like, it's not a big deal. Like every other school has rescheduled it. No one's asking for like a set date or anything yet. They're just saying that, say you're gonna reschedule this when it is safe to do so, which is what a lot of other schools have done, and it just makes sense as a concept, and it's just so horrible. I don't know, to do that to the seniors who have put in so much work. They deserve a real commencement to celebrate all the work that they've put in and have their family and friends there, and a virtual commencement. Honestly, like that's gonna like be a meme. Like that's ridiculous. There's no way to make that like an actual like serious thing, you know? So those are just my thoughts, updates for today, and I'll see you guys later. Hi guys, and welcome to the last part of these quarantine thoughts for this video. I finally figured out what this video was going to be, and it's truly just like my random quarantine thoughts throughout the last like week and a half, and it's kind of random, but it's helping me just kind of stay sane and I don't know, just deal with all this social distancing and this whole pandemic, because it's just something that I didn't think I would be going through. Like I had no way to kind of conceptualize this, because in my life we haven't gone through something this big with this much impact on like every one of us directly. So that's what this video is, and I'm just gonna finish it off by just some last things from today. So today is March 29th. It is a Sunday. Just doing some homework, getting ready for more online classes, and of course still quarantining. California is officially in a shelter in place until at least April 19th, probably longer than that, but that's what it's been confirmed to for now. It's a really, I don't know, nerve-wracking and like very weird to just be like, I'm inside my house and I have to be inside my house. I think that it keeps hitting me in like different ways, like every few days, because sometimes it just feels like I'm home for like spring break, and that's why, you know, I'm just staying home all day and just not doing anything. But like, no, obviously that's not the reason I'm home. Like there's a lot more stuff going on, and it just keeps hitting me. But I'm just gonna do this last bit with some things that I read. So I read a cool article from The Atlantic called How Will Coronavirus End? It's basically like someone's predictions about what is gonna happen next, what needs to happen. And I thought that the most important part of the article was what they said was for America to catch up with what's going on. There are 4 things that need to happen. The first thing is that we need to start making more personal protective equipment, which is equipment that doctors and nurses and hospitals in general need so that they can protect themselves while taking care of patients. This is obviously important for a lot of reasons, but I think one of the biggest things is that if our health professionals are getting sick because they don't have the proper equipment to take care of coronavirus patients, we have less medical professionals who can be helping us on the front lines. And also, just on this note, if you know anyone working in the healthcare profession, please just send them a text, thank them for what they're doing. This is a really terrifying situation. My mom is a doctor, but she's not working with coronavirus patients, at least right now, which is really lucky, but it's a really scary and stressful time. She told me that she got a text from one of her friends who's a doctor in London a few days ago who told her that she was really worried that she wasn't going to come out of this alive, which is just a really terrifying thing. And it's something that medical professionals are taking on, and they're fighting this in the front lines, and we have to be so grateful for them because they're doing so much hard work. And besides just medical professionals, they're so important. You also need to be really thinking everyone who's an essential worker right now, people working in grocery stores, janitors, everyone who's still going to their job and just risking getting infected and doing their work is so important to our society. And if you know anyone working in healthcare or in any other essential thing that they are still working at this time, please just show them your gratitude, send them a text, call them, make them know how important what they're doing is and how much we all appreciate them. So the next thing that the article says is really important is that we need to have a massive rollout of COVID-19 tests. So that's one of the biggest things that the US is just so behind countries like Singapore and China, and how they got through this in a much more efficient way than the United States, is that they're actually testing so many more people. And I mean, there's been a lot of things. I mean, Trump made a statement saying that anyone who wants to get tested can get tested, and that's just absolutely not true, because basically medical places don't have enough tests, so they're having to choose who to give it to. You need to really have all of the symptoms and have been exposed to get testing most of the time. There's also a weird thing where, I mean, celebrities and really rich people are getting tested just because, they thought they might have possibly been exposed, whereas people who really more urgently need testing so that then they can get the care that they need aren't being tested if they're lower income or just, like a regular person as opposed to like a famous person. But we really need that testing. The next thing is social distancing. People need to take it seriously, and it needs to be happening on a bigger scale because it's just something that doesn't work unless the majority of people are doing it. So if anyone sees this video, I don't know if anyone will, but if anyone sees this video, please continue quarantining, social distancing. We need to flatten the curve because our hospitals can't handle everyone getting sick at the same time. And especially with how coronavirus is working, where people can, be exposed to it and then not show symptoms for like a few days before they start showing symptoms, and maybe even like thinking, oh, maybe I have it. For those days, they can be completely feeling healthy and not realize that they have it and spread it to a lot of people. So that's why social distancing is so important. Even if you don't think that you have it, you don't think you've been exposed, please stay inside. Because for one thing, a lot of younger people have been going out thinking that they're not, that they're immune, and you're not immune, because especially in the United States, we've been seeing completely different data than we saw in China, where a lot of younger people are getting coronavirus and they're getting it really bad, and it's just a terrifying thing. But even if you are younger and you have a good immune system and you think you'll be fine, if you're not social distancing, then you're putting the more vulnerable people in our society in danger. So just keep social distancing. The fourth thing that the article said is that we really need to be telling the public all the information that they need, and that's something that our government's not doing. It talks about how Trump has kept repeatedly playing down the problem in America. He said we have it very well under control, which we do not. He said that the cases were going to be down to close to zero when they were rising at the time. That's just absolutely untrue. And it's not that we need to just terrify people, but everyone needs to know the information so that people are actually taking it seriously, because I think a problem is that a lot of people just aren't taking it seriously at the time. So those are the four things that I think, the article says are going to be really important if we need to get on top of this, and hopefully people start doing it and we start doing it on a federal government, national level. But yeah, that's that. And then my own personal things that I think have been helping me, and I don't know if they'll help anyone else, but it's helping me at least in this like social distancing quarantine. I've just been in my house with my family for the last 2 weeks now. I have been making little to-do lists every day to just try and be productive and at least do a few things. Obviously I've got online classes, so homework and stuff has been keeping me busy, but also adding in things that I just want to do for fun to make me feel like I'm not just stuck in this horrifying situation. So I'm just looking at mine from today. I wrote down to like take a dance class. I'm calling some of my friends later. I'm building a blanket fort with my little sister, and we're gonna try to watch a movie in there tonight. So just adding in stuff like that, making a to-do list so I feel like I'm doing stuff during the day, but then also being super, super flexible with myself and knowing that if I don't get stuff done, it is okay. Like, it's completely fine. This is such a stressful time for everybody, and some people way, way more than others, and I completely understand that this is like all coming from my own perspective where I'm having like it's not too bad, you know, like I have a lot of resources and I'm safe and healthy, and so it's okay for me. But yeah, just a to-do list has been helping me a little bit, as long as I'm really flexible with myself, and like if I don't get stuff done, it's not a big deal. Like, just push it to the next day or get rid of it altogether. Just it's there for me to feel like I still have kind of like a day's plan to do. The other thing is like staying active. I've been taking a lot of virtual dance classes and online workouts. There's some really great YouTubers. MadFit is one of my favorites. She's been making tons and tons of workout videos, and most of them don't even need any equipment or anything, so they're really convenient to just do in your house and like without a lot of space, which is really nice because I don't have a ton of space in my room to be doing stuff like that. So that's really good as well. And then the third thing that I want to say is don't overwhelm yourself with the news every day. Like, it's important to stay informed, but cap it at some point. So for me, it's been like either just reading a few articles, or if I'm watching or listening to the news, it's like 30 to 45 minutes a day. And any more than that, it just gets me really stressed out, and it's not changing what I'm doing. So just balance it out, figure out what works for you, and just don't overwhelm yourself with this information, because it can be really frustrating and disappointing to watch. But yeah, this has been like the longest video ever, and I apologize for that. But those are my thoughts during the last few weeks of quarantine. I might make another one of these, who knows, but it's been nice for me to just talk to the camera and like have something to do in my quarantine. So that's all. Thank y'all for watching it, if anyone got this far, and I will see you guys soon. Bye!